Kris is on the play. Kris plays a swamp and passes. Madei plays a forest and casts Bird of Paradise. Kris plays a swamp and casts Sign in Blood, going down to 18. Madei plays a mountain and passes. Kris plays a swamp and casts Vampire Nighthawk. Madei plays a quicksand, she then casts Lightning Bolt on Vampire Nighthawk, destroying it and passing the turn. Kris plays a swamp and casts Dark Tutelage. Madei plays a second quicksand and demolishes Kris's swamp. Kris takes his turn and his Dark Tutelage reveals a Guul Draz Vampire, making Kris lose 1 life, dropping to 17. Kris casts Guul Draz Vampire, followed by a Calastria Highborn, and passes. Madei plays down a Tectonic Edge and casts Roiling Terrain, causing Kris to take 2 damage, falling to 15. Kris takes his turn and his tutor reveals another Guul Draz Vampire, making him fall to 14. He then casts it. Kris pokes at Madei with the other Guul Draz Vampire, and Madei falls to 19. Madei untaps and casts Demolish on Kris's swamp. On Kris's turn, the tutor reveals a Pulse Tracker, and Kris goes down to 13. He plays a swamp and casts it. Kris swings in with the Guul Draz Vampire for 2, dropping Madei to 17. Madei untaps, plays a forest, and casts Ilduziarzers. She then casts Roiling Terrain, and Kris takes 4 damage, falling to 9. Kris takes his turn and his tutor reveals a swamp, sparing Kris any life loss. Kris plays down a swamp and casts Urge to Feed, tapping all his vampires for a +1/+1 counter on each of them. Madei plays down a mountain and casts Terra Stomper. Kris's tutor reveals a Guul Draz Vampire, dropping Kris to 8 life. He plays down a swamp and casts Feast of Blood, destroying Terra Stomper and going up to 12 life. He casts a Guul Draz Vampire and swings in with his team. Madei then uses her 2 quicksands and kills Guul Draz Vampire and the Pulse Tracker. She drops by 3, going down to 14. Madei takes her turn and casts Ironmere and passes. Kris's tutor reveals a Vampire Lacerator, dropping him to 11. Kris plays a swamp and swings in with his Guul Draz Vampires. Madei blocks the 1/1 with her Ironmere, and Kris pays for Calastria Highborn's ability, draining Madei of 2 life and gaining 2 life. Kris is at 13, Madei is at 10. Post-combat, Kris casts Vampire Nighthawk. Madei draws and casts Sylvan Ranger, searching for a mountain and playing it. She passes the turn over. Kris's tutor reveals a swamp. He plays a swamp and casts Hideous End on Madei's Birds of Paradise, dropping her to 8 life. Kris swings with his powered-up Guul Draz Vampire and Vampire Nighthawk. Madei chumps with her Ranger and takes 2 in the air. Kris is at 15, Madei is at 6. Post-combat, Kris casts Sign in Blood, dropping to 13 life. Madei draws and plays into a forest before passing. Kris's tutor reveals a swamp. He plays down a swamp and swings for lethal. Kris wins at 2 games to 1.